Hi friends, and a very warm welcome to all of you in this e-learning session. So welcome to Science by Harsha ma'am. In our today's session, first we will revise about the 4 types of tissue. Then we will revise the whole concept with the help of a small video. After that, today we are going to do the muscle tissue. Okay, so I hope you are ready for the journey. So let's begin with this particular chart that we also did in the nervous tissue when we were doing in the last lecture. So how many 4 basic types of tissues are there? There are 4 types of tissues, right? Which are those? They are over here: epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue and nervous tissue. 4 types of basic animal tissues. Which are those? Epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue and nervous tissue. Coming to the epithelial tissue. The epithelial tissue is divided, as well as connective tissue is having how many subtypes? 5. Okay, which are those 5 subtypes? Squamous epithelial, cuboidal epithelial, columnar epithelial, ciliated epithelial and glandular epithelial tissue. While connective is of 5 types again: areolar tissue, dense regular tissue, which is divided into 2 parts, that is tendon and ligament. Adipose tissue, skeletal tissue, again it is of 2 types, that is cartilage and bone. Fluid connective tissue, again it is of 2 types, that is blood and lymph. Now daily why ma'am is doing this particular chart? So that you remember the same concept. And daily once you have to write the chart and homework. That's a sure work. Okay. So this is how the connections are. And muscular tissue, it is of how many types? 3 types: striated, non-striated and cardiac. Today's session is based on the muscular tissue. I hope you will understand. So let's have a look at its video.
Animal tissues. Almost all animals are made up of tissues. Tissues are groups of cells that are similar in structure and work together to achieve a particular function. Animal tissues are grouped into 4 basic types: epithelial, nervous, muscle and connective tissues. Let's first look at the epithelial tissue. This tissue covers and protects the internal and external surfaces of the animal body. Epithelial tissue is subdivided into simple squamous, stratified squamous, columnar and cuboidal epithelium based on the shape and function of their cells. The simple squamous epithelium is found in the lining of the alveoli and allows transport of small molecules across the membrane. It is extremely thin, flat and single-layered. The stratified squamous epithelium protects areas subject to abrasion and is found in the skin. It is multi-layered. Columnar epithelium acts as an impermeable barrier against any bacteria that could be ingested but is permeable to any necessary ions. It is tall and shaped like a column. Cuboidal epithelium aids in absorption and provides mechanical support. It forms the lining of kidney tubules. It is shaped like a cube. The next tissue type is nervous tissue, which consists of a nerve cell or neuron that has a cell body containing the nucleus. The cell body extends and forms specialized cell parts called dendrites and axons. These are nerve cells that help you retract your hand when you touch a thorn. How does this happen? Nerve cells carry messages. That is, the dendrites bring signals to the cell cell body, and the axon transmits the information to the dendrite of another cell. These nerve impulses allow us to move our muscles when we want to, thus retracting our hand. The brain, spinal cord and nerves are all composed of nervous tissue. The third tissue type is the muscle tissues that are responsible for the movement in our body. The three types of muscle tissues are skeletal, smooth and cardiac. The skeletal muscle helps in locomotion and other voluntary body movements. It is made of long fibers with alternate light and dark bands or striations, so skeletal muscles are also called striated muscles. Smooth muscle cells provide involuntary movements such as the contraction of walls. They line the walls of the hollow structures of the body. Smooth muscle cells are found in the intestines and blood vessels. They are spindle-shaped, flat, pointed at both the ends and broad at the middle. The cardiac or heart muscles are involuntary muscle cells that contract and relax throughout life. They are cylindrical, branched and uninucleated. The final tissue we look at is the connective tissue that binds and supports body parts and transport materials. Connective tissues are subdivided into blood, bone, ligament, cartilage, areolar and adipose tissue. The blood contains RBC, WBC and platelets that transport gases and other materials to different parts of the body. Blood has a fluid matrix. Bone cells secrete calcium that hardens the bone and supports the main organs of the body. Bone cells are solid. Ligaments function as a connection between bones. They are fibrous and stretchy. Cartilage protects bones by preventing them from rubbing against each other. It is a tough but flexible tissue. Areolar fills the space inside the organs. It is gel-like with both elastic and non-elastic fibers. Adipose tissues store fat molecules. In conclusion, we have seen and understood the types of animal tissues, their subclassifications and their functions. Things to remember: animal tissues are grouped into epithelial, nervous, muscle and connective tissues. Epithelial tissues are subdivided into simple squamous, stratified squamous, columnar and cuboidal epithelium. The three types of muscle tissues are skeletal, smooth and cardiac muscles. Cells of the nervous system called nerve cells are specialized to carry stimulus from one place to another within the body.
Now in today's session we are going to talk about the muscular tissue. Okay. Now what is the muscular tissue and how we are able to work on it? For your kind information, almost 40% of our weight is depending it is of this muscular tissues. Okay. 40% of our weight, it is because of the muscles. Moreover, whatever contraction and relaxation is occurring of any part of the body, that is with the help of this muscular tissues. And there are how many types? 3 types. Okay, striated, non-striated, that is smooth muscle, and the last one is the cardiac. So let's have a look at the muscular tissue. Here it is. Muscular tissue, what it is called as contractile tissue. Why it is called as contractile tissue? Because it has the ability to contract and relax, and that's why we are able to move. So a special vote of thanks to this muscular tissue that it is allowing us to move. And moreover, plants are not having these types of tissue, and so only they are not able to move like us. All the relaxations and everything is just because of this muscular tissue. So what is the extra name given to them? Contractile tissue. Remember this, it's keyword. So these are called as contractile. Why? because of its ability to contract and relax. 40% of human weight is due to this, that is muscles. Muscle is responsible for the movement of the body and changes in the size and shape of the internal organs. Okay, so that is about the muscular tissue. Once again, what it is called as, what is the another name of it? Contractile tissue. Why? Because it is helping all the muscles in their movement, that is its ability to relax and contract, and that's why we are able to move. 40% of human weight, why? It is because of the muscular tissue. Then muscles are responsible for the movement of any body and whatever changes are occurring, even in the internal organs. Now here we are having the next particular slide, the whole structure of the muscular cell. Here you can see over here sarcolemma, myofibril and sarcoplasm. These are the three major things. You can see how the muscle cells are. They are long, cylindrical, and there are many nuclei which are present in them. What is this sarcolemma? That is the muscle cell membrane. Like each and every cell, it is having its plasma membrane. For neuron, it was called as neurolemma, while for muscle cell, it is called as sarcolemma. Okay, for neuron, it was neurolemma. Try to recall the last particular lecture of nervous tissue. In that, we had discussed that neurolemma means the outer layer, while over here sarcolemma, that is again the outer layer, but of whose? Of the muscular tissue. Sarcoplasm, that is the thick fluid that is present filled with tiny threads, that is called as myofibrils and proteins. Myoglobin over here, that is the red colored oxygen binding protein. So these are the things which are present in any of the muscular fiber or muscular cell or tissue. Once again, they are called as contractile tissue. Why? Because they are helping in the locomotion of the animals. Moreover, 40% of our weight. Why it is? Because of the muscular tissue. Then coming to the next part over here, that is the muscle fiber. Here you are having the basic structure of it. How are the muscle fibers? They are long, cylindrical and multinucleated. Then you are having sarcolemma. What it is? The cell membrane of the muscle. Sarcoplasm, it is plasm, as we already know, cytoplasm and that all, nucleoplasm, the thick fluid inside it. So in the same way you are having sarcoplasm. What it is having? Very small threads that are called as myofibrils, which are constantly moving. Here you can see this one. Okay, these are the myofibrils which are constantly moving, and what it is also containing? Myoglobin. What it is? Protein rich red colored oxygen. Okay. Then the very first type of tissue, that is striated tissue. And why it is called as striate? You can see over here there are light and dark patches. Like this it is, and dark and light patches are there. Some are dark, some are light. You can just observe over here, few are dark over here. This one, while above it are, in between there is light. So there are bands of dark and light, there are dark and light bands over here, and so it is called as striated muscles. Dark versus light, in this way there are the patches and the myofibrils, that is the muscular fibrils, are running. This is how it looks like, and because of this patches it is called as striated. So about them, almost 80% of the mass of the soft tissues is because of this muscular fiber. Then the contraction and relaxation that is under of any particular organism it is carried out by this particular tissue, and so it is also called as voluntary muscles. Then they are cones, cylindrical and narrow unbranched fibers. There are no branches which are coming from them. They are called as striated because they have light and dark bands over them. What is its basic function? Its function is locomotion, that is the movement, inhalation, that means the respiration that is occurring, inhaling and taking inside the breath and giving out the carbon dioxide. Blinking of eyes, okay, in the blinking also we are using this particular type of tissue. All the voluntary actions, that is the contraction and relaxation and the movement of the body. Its basic functions are over here given, okay. Once again you can have a look at it. This is how it is called as striated muscle fibers. Why? Because of the dark and the light patches. And as you can see over here, these patches are helping in just observing. You'll be able to observe it, and that's why its name is given like that. This is all the content that we did right now. That is 80% of mass of striated muscle is because of the soft tissues. Anything that we human beings are doing, contraction or relaxation, that is only happening because of this voluntary muscles. What are they looking like? The shape, cones, cylindrical. Moreover, they are very narrow and unbranched. They are called as striated because they are having light and dark patches. Its functions are very important. That is in the locomotion, inhalation, exhalation, in the blinking of the eyes, and all the voluntary movements that is happening by a body. Now let's move on the next particular tissue. So the next tissue is over here. That is the smooth muscular tissue. As you can see over here, in the smooth muscular tissue there is just one nucleus, while in the one that you saw beforehand over here it is multinucleated. That means it is having many nuclei, okay. So coming to the smooth muscle, here you can see that the fibrils are running longitudinally, and there is one nucleus which is present. And what is its shape like? Its shape is like a spindle shape. So these are the very important points about the striated muscle. There are no striations. Smooth muscles, that is its another name. What is its shape? Shape is spindle shape. Moreover, you might have seen that the myofibrils are running over here longitudinally, and moreover there is one nucleus that is present in between. So somewhat something like this, okay. So that is you have to keep in your brain. Coming to its functions, most of them are attached to all the visceral organs, that is the feeling organ, that is the urinary bladder, the iris, ciliary muscles, and that's why it is involved with all the involuntary actions of the muscular tissue. What are they attached with? They are attached with the visceral organ. And which are the visceral organs that have been specified in your books? This urinary bladder, iris, ciliary muscles. Now let's have a look at its function. These are the functions of the smooth muscular tissue. They help in the movement of food through esophagus through one type of motion which is called as peristaltic motion. Now what is this peristaltic motion? So there is the contraction and relaxation. Contraction, relaxation, that is helping the food to get swallowed and move through the esophagus. So that is because of this smooth muscular tissue. In the removal of urine and in controlling the amount of light that is entering our eye. In the slide before you saw about the iris, this is the function of iris. That is, it will control the amount of light entering our eye. At once you cannot imagine just you are sleeping and at once anyone will turn on all the lights at midnight, then will you be able to open up your eyes very quickly, so quickly? No. It takes some time for you to open your eye. Or even when you are going from very more lights to any particular place where there is dark, then also you are having some kind of feeling like that. Why that is happening? It is happening because of this particular control. Then ciliary muscles. What are the functions of ciliary muscles now? In the human eye, over here there is lens, and the lens is held by the muscles over here. What is the function of the ciliary muscles now? Ciliary muscles are helping in holding the eye lens, changing the focal length of the eye lens. That is, if at all you want to see anything that is far off or anything that is nearby, then there will be the contraction and relaxation of the eye lens and it will adjust according to the focal length. Imagine inside the needle you want to pour the thread. How will you see? Ultimately you are going to keep your eyes, but you are going to contract your eyes. You want to see anything that is far off, at that time your eyes get bulged off. What's the reason? The reason is this tissue. So here it is. Now the functions that we already saw, that is, it is helping in the movement of food through esophagus by peristaltic movement. The removal of urine, it will also control the amount. So that is about, it will control the amount of light which is entering our eye. So that's all about the function of this non-striated or the smooth muscular tissues. Now the next particular type of tissue, which is cardiac muscular tissue. Just have a look at it. It has striations also, and observe only this figure. You can see that as the name, you might have heard about cardiac surgeon. Those surgeons who are dealing with the heart surgery. So from here only the name is coming. The cardiac muscles, those muscles which are present in the heart. Just have a look at it, and all the points which are going to come in the next slide, try to just analyze it. Here you can see what is extra over here. There is an intercalated disc. Okay, keep this in mind. Then all these points will be easily clear to you. It has many branches. Just have a look, many branches. Then it has myofibrils that are running longitudinally. Involuntary muscles that are having striations. That also you saw, it had dark and light patches. In heart, it is supporting the contract and the relaxation without getting fatigued. Okay, just imagine if the heart will say, oh, hu thaki gyo, I'll relax, will be able to just live. No. So it is just with the help of this muscular tissue that they're constantly moving and keeping us alive. Where do they occur? They occur in the superior and inferior vena cava. Now what is the superior and inferior vena cava? Heart. In the heart, the impure blood, that is the deoxygenated blood, is entering the heart with the help of two parts over here, one at the top and one at the bottom. From there, all the deoxygenated blood is going inside the heart. That is entering through two ways. Superior means at the top and inferior, the one that is at the bottom. So, for the entry of the blood in the heart, there are two places from where the blood is entering the heart, superior and inferior. One is at the top and one is at the bottom. Through the superior and inferior vena cava, the blood is entering inside the heart. And what is its the junction between two cells? What it is called as intercalated disc. This one. Okay. So that is about the cardiac muscles. Once again, they have branch fibers that are running longitudinally, and myofibrils are running longitudinally, and they are having the branch fibers. They are having striations moreover in heart. They are helping in the contraction and relaxation without getting fatigue. Then where do they occur in superior and inferior vena cava, and what is the junction between the two discs called as intercalated disc. Okay, so now let's have a look at it, one of the video.
Types of muscular tissues. Ankita, on the basis of location, structure and function, muscle fibers are of three types: striated muscles, smooth muscles, and cardiac muscles. Striated muscles are found in limbs, tongue, abdominal wall, pharynx, and esophagus. They have alternate light and dark bands of striations. They are long, cylindrical, unbranched, and multinucleated. These muscles move when we want them to move, so they are also called voluntary muscles. Smooth muscles are present in the wall of stomach, intestine, blood vessels, iris of eye, ureter. They are small sized, uninucleate, and spindle shaped, and are generally arranged in layers. They are involuntary muscles as they cannot be started or stopped. Cardiac muscles are found in myocardium of heart. They are both striated and smooth muscles. Cardiac muscles are composed of branched fibers. The branches join to form a network. Each fiber is surrounded by sarcolemma and has sarcoplast with longitudinal microfibrils and a central nucleus. The intercellular spaces are filled with abundant loose connective tissue supplied with blood capillaries.
Okay, so this is about the three types of smooth, striated and cardiac muscular tissue. Now, we'll see once again the whole of the content, and you also have to note down each and every important point. Let's start on. We started our session, and from this, that is the epithelial tissue, muscular tissue, connective tissue and nervous tissue. Nervous tissue we did in the last lecture, while in today's lecture we started and we completed the muscular tissue. I hope that like you'll remember all the things, at least these two are clear. Then epithelial and the connective, one day each we will take, and the things will become more easy and more clear. Okay, after that you had seen the whole of the video that you are seeing daily in the beginning. So that was the animal tissue video. After that, important points about the muscular tissue. From here, your part 2 note down is left out. Note it down first, and then I will explain one slide once again. Note down quickly. And whenever you are writing the exam, at that time underline the keywords. So what are the keywords over here? Contractile, 40% of the human weight. Okay, then responsible for the movement of the body. So these are some of the things which are the keywords that you have to highlight. Just underline, that's enough. Note down the content. I hope that you have noted this. They are called as contractile tissue because they are helping in the contraction and relaxation. More of 40% of our weight is because of these muscular fibers. They are responsible for the movement of the body. The next is this, that is muscle fiber or myofibrils. They are generally, you can see, long, cylindrical and multinucleated. Then sarcolemma, that is the outer layer, the cell membrane. More sarcoplasm, that is constantly filled with a thread-like structure, that are called as myofibrils. You can see, and the myoglobin. About myoglobin is not given in your book, but it's little bit extra, so that because in most of the diagrams that are given on net, it is along with sarcoplasm, sarcolemma, both are given together, so it is included. Note down the C points and quickly note it down. Okay, next, this diagram, the light and dark patches are more as multinucleated. So these are important points about the striated muscular fiber. Note down all the 5 basic points of it. Keywords I'll highlight for you. These are the keywords, the ones that are highlighted with green. You don't need to highlight, you just need to underline them. I hope you have noted the content. Muscular fiber, here all are written in short only. Note down important points. also called as smooth muscle. It's famous by that name only. No striations are there, muscles are smooth, spindle shaped, fibers are constantly running, and these are responsible for the involuntary actions. And what are they attached with? All the visceral organs. Okay, functions of it: movement of food through esophagus through peristaltic movement, the removal of urine, and in controlling the amount of light which is entering the eye. Next was the cardiac muscle. Okay, important points about it are over here. There's branch fibers, myofibrils that are running together. Present over here. So these are the key words that are to be noted. Note it down quickly. So I hope that you have noted the content. Now let's have a look at the video once again.
Types of muscular tissues. Ankita, on the basis of location, structure and function, muscle fibers are of three types: striated muscles, smooth muscles, and cardiac muscles. Striated muscles are found in limbs, tongue, abdominal wall, pharynx, and esophagus. They have alternate light and dark bands of striations. They are long, cylindrical, unbranched, and multinucleated. These muscles move when we want them to move, so they are also called voluntary muscles. Smooth muscles are present in the wall of stomach, intestine, blood vessels, iris of eye, ureter. They are small sized, uninucleate, and spindle shaped, and are generally arranged in layers. They are involuntary muscles and they cannot be started or stopped. Cardiac muscles are found in myocardium of heart. They are both striated and smooth muscles. Cardiac muscles are composed of branched fibers. The branches join to form a network. Each fiber is surrounded by sarcolemma and has sarcoplasm with longitudinal microfibrils and a central nucleus. The intercellular spaces are filled with abundant loose connective tissue supplied with blood capillaries.
Okay, so that's all for the content of the day. Thank you so much for listening to me. Today's content, whatever it was, try to learn it by heart. It will be good for you. And as in how, whenever we are having this muscular tissue and at least till animal tissues, see that you are doing the work daily. Okay, it's daily's work daily. That's all for the content of the day. Thank you so much for listening to me and have a very good day. Bye bye.